Hey all, DT Neil coming at you with my thoughts on storytelling, genre, science fiction, fantasy, horror, superheroes, comics, animated stuff, and other things. One thing that's been popping up a little bit, or a lot, depending on where you're looking, is the discussion about people using AI to, they call it writing stories. I don't consider that writing a story. I consider someone who actually writes a story to be a writer of a story. These other people who are using AI to write stories for them, I guess. I call them word pimps. I think I've groused it in some other posts before, but word pimps. You know, we already know, I abundantly know, that writers are underappreciated in our society. And the idea that somebody can just jump into an AI and conjure up, have the AI write a story for them that they then represent as their own. I mean, what do data plagiarists? This whole environment of that is both it's symptomatic of our time. Oh yeah, I'm gonna shit out just push this in there, let the AI shit something out, and I wrote that story. And it's absurd and it's obscene. And it's probably a bellwether of what we're going to be facing increasingly as AI becomes ever more competent and humans become ever more dependent upon that. And the industry's desire to have, and I'm speaking about publishing in this case, but it's not just publishing, it's creative industry as a whole. Desire to have marketable, sellable products. One could just imagine, if they're not doing it already, some enterprising souls taking like the top bestsellers, all the bestsellers of the last 15 years, let's keep it current, and they just feed them into the AI, and they have the AI crap out an amalgamated Uber story that's been spun up by the AI, and then try to foist that out on the market. Like, it's just obscene to me. I wrote my first story when I was 7 years old. I typed it out, and I said that in an earlier post. Like, I've been doing this since I was 7, and I love writing. It's challenging and it's demanding, and I love it. It's I will freely admit, writing is a masochistic endeavor, because you really, as a writer, it's just you and what you're trying to create, and you're trying to make it good, and you're trying to synthesize all this stuff from what you've observed, the story you're trying to tell, the characters you're trying to give life to. You're trying to do all this stuff. There's so many decisions that a writer makes in the course of a story, and the number of decisions is probably tied to how good a writer is. Like a hack is just going to go, whatever. And the characters aren't going to have depth. There's not going to be, a richly imagined world, all this stuff. There's, they can make decisions that go easy on that way. But it's still a level of effort. It's still a lot of work. And people don't appreciate it, because most people all they look at is the book. They just think about the book, the completed thing. And those who even read, because again, I've already discussed how people don't read as much as they ought to. So for folks, they just think, oh, it's a book. Yeah, life got in the way. I didn't get a chance to read it. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. And the idea of a contrivance like AI allowing these people who have no talent, nothing in them that actually makes them a writer, because if you're a writer, you're not going to use that tool. It's anathema to what we are. We live and breathe words. And for this to exist like that is really offensive. And yet at the same time, looking at the industry, I know somebody's just gonna do it. Some publisher's just gonna do it with this AI written book. And again, they probably are. I mean, but And if it becomes a bestseller, the publishing industry will suddenly go, aha, that's our way forward. AI, writing the stories. And it's so offensive to me, having bled on the page for so long, how hard it is to even succeed as a writer and to have this steam on through. It's really appalling. It's really infuriating. So much so that I'll probably go over my 5-minute self-imposed limit just to kind of air my grievances. And I profoundly feel for visual artists, graphic designers, folks who are doing the visual representations of work, because those AI things, they scrape all of the existing intellectual property out there to teach the AI to be able to do it, and then it puts it out there. I saw that one of my novellas, Relict, had been absolutely pirated, and I was like, nice, thanks, nice to see that. And at the same time, in the face of it, I'm still writing. I will continue to write. I will continue to do my human writing. I'm going to do that because that's integral to who I am. I can't not write. I love to write. And I will do it with a certain measure of defiance, I guess. I haven't gotten where I would like to be with regard to my success, my profession as a writer. Like, I would love to be able to write full time. I can't do it. So many of us can't do that because it's just so hard. There's so much material out there. Readers are gorged on possibilities with regard to writing, and it's really, really, really hard to get noticed and appreciated. And then while all that's going on, these bastards come along, these word pimps come with the AI, and they think, yeah, I wrote that, me and my pal ChatGPT or whatever they're using. It's super galling and it's super offensive, because there's so much more to writing something worthwhile than just a couple keystrokes, and you'll run into people that say, oh yeah, I've got a novel in me, and it's like, oh, do you? Well, did you write it? No, you didn't. You know why? Because it's work. It's a lot of work. It's a tremendous amount of work. And people just think, oh yeah, it'd be cool, I could write a book. And then when you face that blank page, it's like, yeah, knock yourselves out. Welcome. Enjoy that journey. The ability to create worlds in characters, imaginary things, as a writer, it's just so much work. And you're either cut out for it or you're not. And for me, that's such a key distinction. I think, unfortunately, the nature of the publishing industry, desperate to have people buying books and selling books and being able to push those out, is likely highly tempted to use those AI tools. But for people who are actually writing, who live and breathe the written word, it is a dreadful time to be a writer, honestly. So in addition to anything else, and I might speak more about it later, or I might just keep on this particular post, but it's like, support your human writers, your indie writers. And if you actually like something, and even if you don't, honestly, I'm grown up enough about that. Like, if you like it, leave a rating, leave a review for the humans, because we need it. We need every little bit of help that we can get. And just on that off chance, if you really like something, if it moved you, it's worthwhile to get it out there, to get your opinion about that. Because in this environment, in this incredibly toxic environment, it's so hard. It makes writing even harder than it already is. And those of us who are human writers, we greatly appreciate every little bit of support that we might get from anybody who might read a book, might like a book, might appreciate it, might talk about it, might tell to other people. That's so critical. That word of mouth is lifeblood to us who are doing it, who are bleeding for the words. I've been at this for quite a long time, and I've watched the landscape change. And honestly, while existentially I thought, yeah, there's an AI risk out there. But the idea that people would actually do that, and try to pretend to be writers when they actually aren't, it's just is like, ugh. It's like it pours salt in the wound. It's awful. So anyway, I'll stop for now because this is a longer clip. So there it is. More to come.